Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an elderly woman who was known for her kindness, wisdom, and ever present joy. The villagers adored her and frequently sought her advice or simply enjoyed talking to her about their concerns. One day, a young man from the village approached her with curiosity and asked, "You always seem cheerful no matter what happens. Don't you ever feel sad when things go wrong?" The old woman gave him a warm smile and responded, "My dear, life is a mix of highs and lows. Some days are wonderful, while others are difficult. But I have learned that true happiness comes from within, not from what happens around us." The young man, puzzled by her words, asked, "What do you mean? How can you remain happy even when misfortune strikes?" The elderly woman then shared a personal story. "When I was younger, I had a family, a loving husband and children. We weren't wealthy, but we were contented. One day, my husband fell gravely ill, and we didn't have enough money to afford his medicines. We did everything we could, but he eventually passed away. It was the most heartbreaking moment of my life. I wept for days, believing I would never feel joy again." The young man listened attentively as she continued. "As time passed, I realized that drowning in sorrow wouldn't bring my husband back. My children needed me, and I had to find a way to smile again. I began to see life differently. I understood that both joyful and painful moments are a part of life, but I refused to let the hardship steal my happiness." The young man, still curious, asked, "But how did you manage to do that?" The old woman smiled again and said, "Each morning when I wake up, I remind myself it's a brand new day, and I make it a goal to find something to appreciate. Some days it's more challenging than others, but there is always something, even if it's small. Perhaps the sun is shining, a bird is singing, or a friend smiles at me. There's always a reason to be grateful." The young man thought deeply about her words before asking, "But what if something truly terrible happens? How can you still find happiness?" "It's not always easy," she admits, "but I remind myself that nothing lasts forever, not even the bad times. When hardship comes, I tell myself this too shall pass. Instead of dwelling on what I've lost, I focus on what I still have: my health, my friendships, or simply the gifts of being alive. Happiness is a choice. You can either dwell on negativity and be miserable, or you can look for the good and find joy. It takes effort, but it's possible." The young man felt grateful for her wisdom and left with a newfound perspective. He decided to apply her advice in his life daily. Over time, he noticed a positive change. Though difficulties still arose, he remained optimistic and found happiness in life's small blessings. Word of the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village, and more people started embracing her philosophy. They came to understand that happiness isn't about material wealth or external circumstances.